The power of Ardaas, a Sikh story of courage and faith. Today I am going to share a story that shows the power of Ardaas or prayer. What happens when someone prays with a pure heart? How can Ardaas give us unexpected strength, courage, and power? This is a remarkable story from Sikh history that teaches us that when a prayer comes from a heart, it can transform an ordinary person into someone capable of extraordinary things. Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Sikhism Official. Today's story takes us back to the period around 1738 1740 when Punjab was going through one of the darkest and most difficult periods in Sikh history. At that time, Zakariya Khan was the Mughal governor of Punjab. He strongly opposed the Sikhs and wanted to eliminate the Sikh community from Punjab. To achieve this, he announced rewards for anyone who killed a Sikh or brought the head of a Sikh to him. After this announcement, many people began hunting Sikh for money. A reward of around 80 to 100 rupees was offered for the head of a Sikh. As a result, thousands of Sikhs were killed during this period. So many Sikhs left their homes and began living in forests and jungles. Their numbers had become very small and they were constantly being hunted by Mughal authorities. Seeing this situation, Zakariya Khan became confident. He believed that he had almost completely destroyed the Sikh community in Punjab. But he did not know that the Sikhs who had disappeared into the forests were preparing to become an even greater force. Around this time, another major event changed the situation. In 1739, the Persian ruler Nader Shah invaded India. He defeated the Mughal forces and entered the Delhi. After capturing the city, his army looted enormous amounts of wealth, including gold, silver, precious stones, and other valuables. They also captured women and took them along with the prisoners and wealth they had taken from Delhi. After completing this looting, Nader Shah began his journey back towards Persia. But on the way, his army had to pass through Punjab. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. During the night, small groups of Sikh warriors began attacking Nader Shah's huge army. The Sikhs would suddenly appear, attack the soldier, recover the wealth and had begun looted from Delhi, free the captured women, and then disappeared into the darkness. These attacks were carried out mainly at night because the Sikhs were very small in number compared with Nader Shah's army. The Sikhs were experts in guerrilla warfare. They knew the forests and surrounding areas extremely well. They would attack suddenly, strike their enemies, and disappear before the large enemy would respond. Nader Shah became extremely angry and confused. He could not understand. Who were these warriors? Where did they come from? Where did they live? And how could such a small group repeatedly attack his army? Eventually, Nader Shah went to Zakariya Khan, the governor of Punjab, and blamed him for these attacks. He thought Zakariya Khan and his forces had attacked his army during the night. Zakariya Khan explained, "It was not my army. These attacks were carried out by the Sikhs." Nader Shah was surprised. He had never seen these Sikhs and knew very little about them. So Zakariya Khan explained that the Sikhs were living in the forests and were very highly skilled warriors. He told Nader Shah that capturing them extremely difficult because they knew the land very well and could disappear quickly after the attack. He even described them as warriors who were so accustomed to live their difficult lifestyle that they could sleep on horseback and remain constantly prepared for battle. Nader Shah wants to see the Sikhs. Nader Shah did not believe that such warriors could really exist. He challenged Zakariya Khan, "If these Sikhs really exist, then bring some of them before me. I want to see them with my own eyes." Zakariya Khan immediately understood the problem. He knew that capturing real Sikh warriors would be extremely difficult. The Sikhs were hiding in forest and they were experienced fighters. If he sent soldiers to capture them, there was a strong possibility that the soldiers would fail. So Zakariya Khan came up with a different plan. He decided to present fake Sikhs before the Nader Shah. At that time, there was a community in Punjab known for performing comedy, acting, and entertainment. Zakariya Khan selected 4 or 5 men from this group. These men were not warriors, they were performers and comedians. They had never fought like Sikh warriors and did not know how to properly use a sword. Zakariya Khan ordered them to dress like Sikhs. His soldiers put Sikh style clothing on them and brought them before the Nader Shah. Their hands were also placed in handcuffs so that everyone would believe that these were genuine Sikh warriors who had been captured. When the people in the city saw them, many became surprised and frightened because they believed that real Sikh warriors had finally been captured. When the fake Sikhs were brought before Nader Shah, he was not satisfied simply by looking at them. He wanted to see their fighting skills. He ordered them to demonstrate how they fought. But there was a serious problem. These men were comedians. They did not know how to fight. They did not know even how to properly hold a sword. Fighting against trained soldiers was almost impossible for them. They were terrified. They knew that if they entered the battlefield, they could be killed within moments. But then they remembered something. They knew that before going to battlefield, Sikhs traditionally turn towards Waheguru and perform Ardaas. So before the fight began, these men folded their hands and stood together in the prayer, prayed to Waheguru. They also remembered Guru Gobind Singh Ji and asked for courage and strength. Their prayer was not for personal glory. They wanted to protect the honor of the Sikh image and show that Sikhs were brave warriors. And then something extraordinary happened. As they prayed, something changed inside them. Fear began to disappear, their hearts became filled with courage. The men who had entered the battlefield as frightened comedians suddenly began to feel like fearless warriors. They became deeply connected with Waheguru, and when the battle began, they fought with extraordinary courage. They fought fearlessly against the soldiers. The men who had never properly held a sword before now, fighting like warriors. They killed many enemy soldiers and continued fighting despite being heavily outnumbered. Zakariya Khan was shocked. He had brought these men only to deceive Nader Shah. He knew that they were not real Sikh warriors, but now they were fighting like experienced soldiers. Zakariya Khan could not understand what was happening. He ordered them to stop, but they didn't listen. They continued fighting. Their courage had gone far beyond acting. They continued the battle until, after a long fight, they were finally martyred. Killed hundreds of soldiers of them. Shah was deeply impressed and surprised by what he had witnessed. He looked at the bravery of these men and said that the Sikhs were truly fearless and courageous warriors. But then Zakariya Khan revealed the truth. He told Nader Shah that these men were not actually Sikh warriors, they were merely performers and comedians who had been dressed up to look like Sikhs. Nader Shah was astonished. He realized that the men who had just fought so bravely were not even trained Sikh warriors. He then understood something much more frightening. If people who are not even trained warriors could fight with such courage after being inspired by Sikh spirit, how powerful and dangerous must be real Sikh warriors be? According to the history, before leaving Punjab, Nader Shah warned Zakariya Khan that one day these Sikh would rule this land. So this is the beautiful story of those five comedians who really fought like Sikh soldiers and martyred at last. The story gives us a powerful lesson about Ardaas. Those men entered the battlefield with fear. They did not possess the training and experience of professional warriors. When they folded their hands and prayed sincerely, something changed within them. Their fear was replaced by strength, their weakness was replaced by determination, and their hearts were filled with the courage to face death. The story teaches us that Ardas is not simply about asking Waheguru for something. It is also about surrendering our fear, connecting ourselves with the divine, and finding the inner strength to face difficult situations. When a person prays with a sincere heart, Ardas can give them the courage to do things they once believed were impossible. These comedians entered the battlefield pretending to be Sikhs. After their ardas, they displayed the courage associated with Sikh warriors. They fought like lions and they sacrificed their life while protecting the honor of the Sikh identity. That is the power of faith, that is the power of courage, and that is the message of Ardas. Beautiful story reminds us that sometimes the greatest strength is not found in our body, our weapons, or our abilities. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from faith. When we feel weak, Ardas can give us courage. When we feel afraid, Ardas can give us strength. And when we believe that we cannot do something, sincere prayer can give us confidence to face that challenge. The story of these men reminds us that the prayer made from the heart can transform fear into courage and weakness into strength. You can also watch the Punjabi movie Mastane, which is based on this story. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel Sikhism Official for more beautiful and inspiring stories from Sikh history. Thank you so much for watching. See you in next video.